Alright, so I'm heading to Sydney now to get audited, and it's been like 9 months since I was there last to get audited with Ronsorg. And this time around for the video, I was just working out just then. I'll check out the Ideal Org in Sydney. I'll check out the Advanced Org. I'll check out the accommodation of the Sea Org staff. So I'm heading up to Sydney, and last year I did the PDS handling, and that was it. Now this time, because I haven't had any accidents this year or anything, I expect that I'm probably done on that PDS handling, and I might have to do some sort of leave church repair list or something, and then I'll get back into doing the grades and stuff, because I did the grades GAT2 style in the church, and they are quickied. You don't take the grades to a full EP with the GAT2 in the church. So I want to get the proper tech and stuff, and I feel like since last time I did it was like 5 years ago. So I've gone through an epic 5-year period. So I've discovered so much stuff. It's like I'm just a full-blown new person. So it's like I imagine when I do the grades, it'd be like doing them new again. And I was just so impressed with the auditing I got in the free zone that I was like, wow, yeah, a lot of my time was wasted on the old grades. A lot of my time was wasted just flying rudes because I wasn't FNing, because they were using the wrong definition of an FN, and because I was PDS to the church, like most church members are. The reason why they keep on asking for overts and present time problems and all that sort of stuff, because they just ask it so much when you get audited in the church, it's because they're delivering squirrel tech, and their PCs are unhappy, so it's hard for their PCs to FN. But when you do Scientology in the free zone, you're getting standard tech, so it's easier to FN because the definition of the FN hasn't been made this strict definition as what they use in the church, and and you're not getting screwed over, and you're not getting faulty tech, so you just FN easier, and you don't bog down, and they don't ask you, is there an overt, is there a withhold, is there a withhold, is there a withhold, is there an overt? And this is what it's like in the church. I mean, this is really what most people spend their time doing in the church. It's not necessarily getting audited. It's just like so much of it is doing sec checks and asking for overts and stuff, and it's just like it's crazy. But I'm looking forward to getting in and fixing up my grades and doing a repair list or whatever, and I can't wait to do more of the bridge. It just seems so interesting and so out there, especially Excalibur, and I'm going to do all the tech that's offered. I want to do different versions of OT8. Should probably say that after doing my PDS handling last year in the free zone, that it worked basically, and I'm no longer PDS, so that's a good sign. Like, not really having any accidents this year, and things were just a bit hectic in my universe, and things need to become straightened out and I guess more organised. But it's not like I got audited and then the next day all my problems went away. It was like just things needed to happen that took time. Like, I think certain people need to get out of my universe or whatever, and that took time. And I think that's how I think you need to approach PDS handlings. Is you look at what's wrong or the area that's wrong, and you come up with solutions. And it's not like you disconnect the next day. You recognise the problem and you work out ways to solve the problem or the suppressive or whatever, and you realize that sometimes it takes a bit of time. And then also you end up realizing at the end of it, all of it, that it was actually good that you went through the PDS situation, because it was a rough experience, but it toughened you up and it made you smarter and stronger, and you in the end you came out of it better. Anyway, I will speak to you when I'm in Sydney. Bye. Alright, so I'm about an hour outside of Sydney now, and yeah, I'm going to go and do an interview this evening with my auditor, and then hopefully tomorrow get in session. Everything's all set up. It's pretty good. Alright, so I just saw my auditor, and I had an interview, and it was fairly short. It wasn't like last year when I first got audited in the free zone, and my first interview was like a full-blown auditing session where I was going on and blah blah blah. And I was PDS at the time, so I had a lot to say. The interview was like thorough, like really big, but today's was like a lot shorter and just wasn't really like a session, because I don't have as much stuff going on in my universe. So I guess I'm probably ready to get in there and see what I'm going to be running tomorrow. I might be running something to do with allergies, which is interesting. Anyway, I just had a nice hot shower and we're settling in at my Airbnb. Have a look. Ooh, look at that. Ooh. Alright, see ya. Alright, so I had a session today, and it was pretty good. And now I've been listening to Ron's Journal 36, 38 and 39, which were the last Ron's journals, the New Year's messages by LOH. And it's quite interesting doing a little investigation on them, because one of them seems to be very likely to be fake. And I'll probably do a briefing on it. It's worth talking about. But Ron's Journal 38 seems quite questionable. It's got some outpoints. Anyway, I should have done more study on my data evaluators course, but I get distracted by doing little investigations. But I guess it's exercising the ability that I learn on the data evaluators course. Anyway, I'm looking forward to doing more session tomorrow. And today's session was like sort of a green form sort of stuff, so it was actually sort of handling stuff that occurred while I was in the church, and so it was fairly quick, because I wasn't like Chris Shelton where I left the church all upset, crying, all that sort of stuff. I got a lot from my experiences in the church. Alright, so I just had my second session and it's looking good again. I'm coming more out of the mind control, which is this Western world we live in, and planet Earth. Planet Earth in itself is a whole mind control thing, because when you share a planet with people who are evil and they lie, and like it's only a small percent, but when they're successful they make an impact, like when they run a corporation. Anyway, evil people tend to engage in lies. That's how it's just how evil people are. Like evil people don't deal in the truth. So when you're sharing a planet with these sort of people, they tend to they tend to put out lies and put out propaganda, and then next minute you're in a mind control system. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're living on a planet with only one evil person, right, then the odds that everybody would be in a mind control condition and brainwashed is really low. But if there's more of them and they're quite successful, right, then next minute you've got churches that are putting people in a mind control situation, and then you've got governments that are promoting more mind control, like trying to get everyone gay, and then you've got, you know, food corporations that are trying to make you think that you really need to drink Coca-Cola. So things are basically what I'm trying to say is that they're a bit off the rails here on Earth, in that there's lots of mind control going on. Like, I'll give you an example. People who are involved with the Church of Scientology, right? They leave, then they hate Scientology, and they say how the Church of Scientology had them in a mind control situation where they're brainwashed and stuff, right? And the thing that I always found funny about these people, right, they're not wrong, but it's funny that they haven't recognized that just the fact that they're living in Western society, they are under a different type of mind control. They haven't realized it. In the same way that when people are involved with the Church of Scientology, they don't realize they're brainwashed. When you're involved in Western society, you also don't realize you're brainwashed. But with Scientology, right, done correctly, outside the church, it wakes you up and makes you realize what's going on, and it red pills you, and you realize that you're in a mind control situation. And so this sort of relates to the session I had today, where I had more realizations about how I'm in a mind control situation, and realizing how I'm coming out of it, and learning how to use my intelligence and think and to look and to see the truth behind things, and not get sucked in by the mind control. So anyway, I don't want to go on too much. I'll probably cut most of this anyway, but right now I'm heading to the old Advanced Org in Sydney, and I'll just film out the front of it so people can see what the old Advanced Org was like. And the old org, before it went ideal, was in an ideal location and was with an ideal size and all that sort of stuff. But of course they moved out of that and went more towards the suburbs of Sydney in a bigger building, and it's a pretty cool piece of mess, but it's not as practical as the old org. So I'll just film that and I'll show that, and I'll also visit some other places and stuff, and then I've got to go in session again in a few hours. Anyway, see ya. Going over the famous Sydney Harbour Bridge. So I just thought I'd film it. Look at me, I'm so naughty. I'm using my phone while I'm driving. Oh, I'm outrageous. So anyway, this is Sydney Harbour Bridge, right? Really good looking city, Sydney. It's just nice to look at. Like, it's just entertaining with the bay and everything, but we can't see much. That's the oceans that way. Okay, so this is the street, and on the right you can see the shopping centre. On the left is where the org used to be, the Advanced Org, and I can still see the outline of Scientology on the sign because it's faded away. And it'll be interesting to see what they're using this for, because they moved a few years ago, so it looks like I don't know what's happening to the building, but you can see there's Scientology a little bit. But this was the old org, and this was really cool. That was probably the entrance right there, that area there. And it was a cool entrance, and it was a really cool funky building, and it was built in like 1990, so it had this sci-fi 80s feeling to it, like a Total Recall movie, the artisticness of it. And I'll hop out and just film a little bit more. Yeah, there were the auditing rooms up there and that, and yeah, I don't know what they're doing. They're probably going to be putting apartments, because that's all they can do in Australia because of the New World Order. We've sent all our factories overseas. I'm going to now check out the Ideal Org for Sydney, and then after that I'll check out the Advanced Org. But yeah, as you can see, I mean, this was great, this old org, and now it's gone, you know. It's just a shame, because I was literally here 4 years ago, and I've changed so much since being here, but it's just have something workable, and now they're making it less workable. But the new org is pretty cool. And I heard that this new org is the Advanced Org, I mean, is it's got real serious security nowadays, because there was a stabbing, and I think a SEAL member might have died or something. But yeah, it was a stabbing, and so since then, now they're really strict on security, and people have to have a card to get into the new org. See, at the old Advanced Org, and when the Advanced Org opened up until the stabbing, you know, you didn't have to have a security card to get in. Now it's like you have to have a security card to get in. It's that strict. And if there's an event on, they have like full-on security in that, because they're worried, I guess, about another stabbing happening. So it's a bit too far. But anyway, so Alright, so I'm just walking up to the City Ideal Org. Alright, so that's the Ideal Org. See that building here? That's the new Ideal Org. And here's the street. Lots of traffic. Not lots of foot traffic though, but lots of car traffic. Yeah, have a look. The doors are open and that. I don't want to get into any trouble. I don't think I'm going to get into any trouble. People might just think I'm doing a video call. They think that the camera's looking at that they'll think that I'm talking to somebody on the phone and it's like FaceTime, you know, but I'll have them in the background. There it is. I'll go around. A second. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Nice and casual, yeah. A little bit of foot traffic. It's peaceful. Yeah. What time is it now for staff? Nearly 2 o'clock, so some of them might be coming back from lunch. Oh, it looks alright. Alright, I don't have much else to say. So, looks fairly quiet, which is what would be expected. I remember I went there, I studied in there for a few hours 4 years ago, and it was a full-blown ghost town. Like, all the Ideal Orgs aren't that packed, but the Sydney one was really not that packed because they had the AO that was only 15 minutes away, and I think everyone would just go to the AO and just ignore the Sydney Org. So anyway, I remember studying in the Ideal Org when it only opened up like a year earlier, and it was just full-blown a ghost town, and I actually felt depressed after it. This was when I was starting to wake up to what was going on in the church, because I was just like, what the hell? It was depressing. I was just like, this is crazy. I mean, this org is empty, you know. And I was like one of the only people in the course room, and anyway, and it was manned by, there was a decent amount of Taiwanese there as well. So when it came to the Melbourne Ideal Org and the Sydney Ideal Org, the Taiwanese people really saved the day. They imported them here, and Melbourne Org I don't even think would have existed if it wasn't for the Taiwanese. The Melbourne Ideal Org, that is. Anyway, I'm going to head down to the AO and film a little bit out the front. It's going to look cooler, the AO. Alright, see ya. Alright, so heading to the Ideal Advanced Org, and it's kind of interesting as well. I don't know if the church advertises the Advanced Orgs as being ideal. You know what I mean? Like, they call them, like, they really run with this Ideal Org thing, but they didn't run with the Ideal Advanced Org. They'll just say Advanced Org's getting a renovation. Alright, so this is the side street, but this is where the main entrance is of the AO, and I'll cruise past. And I'll go by a little bit slow. There it is. There's the entrance and that. Wow, and that's kind of interesting. See, I don't think, maybe that's happened since the stabbing, but I don't think they've had permanent gates and it being closed and all that. So you see in there, you can't. The building's behind that, but you can just see a car park. So this is where they took it to. It's out of the good location inside the city, and now it's more like a rich person's house. But it's sort of not. It's not that practical. All right, so I'm going to get another shot of the alternate entrance. So I'm going to get another shot of the alternate entrance, and yeah, I hope you like it. And there's someone at the bus stop. Might be a public. Interesting to see. Interesting. An Asian. Yeah, look at that event still. Can you see that? They're still saying, oh. Alright, this is cool. So this is the alternate entrance. Oh, look at that. That's cool, huh? So, got a building there. Oh, look at that. You can see the soccer was back there. Yes, that's kind of cool. Look at that. Ooh. I don't want to get much attention from security and all that. Oh, I can see into the cafeteria and all that. Anyway, it's a pretty big building. It's just like that. Yeah. Alright. See you later. So we didn't see many people walking in and out of the building. Didn't see many cars rocking up. When I was there, I just saw one car rock up, and didn't see any people parked out the front. Saw one person catching a bus, and that could have been a Sea Org member. So yeah, maybe it wasn't a successful action, or maybe I'm an SP. You'll have to work that out. This is like a weird version of a tour of Sydney or whatever. Anyway, speaking of Scientology, so I've been having deja vu experiences, which always happens when I get audited, and it's unusual. Deja vu is so interesting. It's like, ooh, what is this? Ooh, what's going on? But it's just so typical. Like before, I was just having a little bit of deja vu, and I was just like, man, like when I was on the grades, I was just having so much deja vu. It's quite possible there's a reason for this, and it's on Excalibur at Ronsorg. There might be an answer to the deja vu experience. Here I'm just eating dinner now, but have a look at this food. Woo! Wait, hold on. Oh, can you see that? Oh, it's so weird holding a phone like that. Anyway, I was just thinking how much I've gotten done today, because I checked out the AO, the Ideal Org, the old AO, and I went to a shopping centre, bought some stuff, and I did yoga. I did some Bikram yoga, and I did 2 sessions of Scientology, and I studied a little bit. But anyway, I just got so much done, and I was saying yesterday how I'm so much more casual nowadays and so much lazier. And you think that you're not getting stuff done, but the truth is that when you're less aberrated, you get heaps of stuff done. You don't have to be running around like, oh, I've got to be here, I've got to be there to get stuff done. You can just be lazy. You can just walk around like, yeah, like, oh yeah, and have that attitude like I had today, and I just got all this stuff done. You know, because I guess you just go by the postulate. So you don't run into a traffic jam and all these problems and stuff. But I swear I wouldn't be able to have done this a year ago or something like that, like as many things in one day. It's just interesting, you know. And I would, if I was doing a trip or whatever, in the last few days I'd be like panicking, rushing, like I've got to get stuff done. But now I'm in like this, within the first few days I've gotten heaps of stuff done, so I won't be panicking towards the end. It's just so interesting, you know, like you got to just relax, calm down, and not be all panicky, not be all manic and stuff. And you got to be lazy, and that doesn't mean you'll be sitting on the couch eating Cheezos and not achieving things. But it's interesting. You got to have this lazy attitude, and you get stuff done. It's interesting. All right, see ya. All right, so I'm just having a nap before I go in session. I'm waiting in my car actually, because I'm feeling a bit tired. I'm actually feeling a little bit dizzy. I think I don't know if auditors probably know about this, but yeah, I might have blown a lot of charge or something, and now I'm sort of dizzy because mentally things are shifting in me because I'm like looking into things and stuff. The auditing's getting me to go into areas that I guess you don't usually think about, and mental masses are shifting and stuff. But yeah, like a few hours ago I was fairly dizzy actually, and I was like, wow, this is weird. It's like being drunk or something. So yeah, anyway, I'm doing like a green form or something, and yeah, it's obviously working. It's doing something, and yeah. Anyway, I'll speak to you next time. But yeah, this dizziness I had a few hours ago is really interesting. So it was like sort of dizziness and tiredness and stuff, and it's just like, wow, this is what happens when you're coming out of the brainwashing, because we're all brainwashing victims. It's just interesting. These are the sorts of mental things that can happen as a person is coming out of these things. Alright, so I had some good wins yesterday, and I got rid of that, I keyed out that dizziness or whatever that turned on, and that was kind of interesting because I was obviously handling a lot of case. Yeah, I had some good wins and felt refreshed and ate a good meal. had a naughty chocolate creamy thingy from McDonald's. I just feel so good after have like dairy, to be honest. It's my addiction, but you just feel nice in the stomach. You feel like you're full if you finish a meal with like like a chocolate creamy frappe. It's nice. So yeah, I'm a lot better today, and so I've still got, I might be halfway through my review auditing, and yeah, it's all about more becoming me and moving out of the mind control and all that. Like moving out of being effect and more just me cause who I am, and not being this stimulus response creature. Alright, so I just attested to my, it was actually called an LX form, no, an LX list. I just attested to it, and it was good because what I noticed, it's actually quite interesting, because some of the wins that I was getting from running it was me coming more into my own valence and not being affected by negative shit from other people, basically. And then when I went to a test, the examiner handed me the little test quote that was written on a piece of paper, handwritten, because it, you know, I guess in the free zone we're a little bit not as professional. I think the church will have like a proper typed up attesting. But anyway, the EP was something about being in more your own valence. And so I was like, oh wow, that makes total sense. That's exactly, yeah, that's one of the wins I've gotten from this. Is I've taken more control of my postulates and my mind, really, and stopped other people's opinions from swaying me and stuff, and I'm more myself and I'm more on purpose. And I notice incidents in life where you get into some sort of bad incident and then you start coming out of your own valence because you take on other people's stuff. It was just really cool. It was it's just good when you know you see the EP and you're like, wow, that's yeah, I've got that, you know. It's pretty cool. And then we were going to do some rising scale processing, but then I let them know that I'd done that in the church as a part of grade 4 with GAT2. It was something new I think they added to the grade 4 with GAT2, and rising scale processing is cool, and I got some good wins from it and stuff. But we were going to do it, but then the auditor was like, well, you've already done it, so we didn't do it. And now I am waiting on a CS to see if there's anything more to do, and it would have to be a short cycle because I'm quickly going back to Melbourne. Because I just got a few more hours left on my intensive. But yeah, I definitely feel good. I'm in a good shape. I'm sort of fixed up, and I guess I'm ready now to go back on the bridge and continue with the bridge. So I guess my leaving church repair is done. Oh, and where I'm heading to right now is the Sea Org base in Dundas, which is in the suburbs of Sydney. And I'll just film the outside of it so you can see. And this Sea Org base is where the staff live and sleep and stuff, and it's probably 25-minute drive to the advanced org from the base. And the base is a former place where nuns used to live. And it's going to be interesting to check it out, because when I went there 4 years ago, it wasn't ideal, or it wasn't renovated. But when they made the ideal advanced org, they also kind of made an ideal base for the Sea Org staff. So I'm expecting to see some renovations done to this place. Okay, so I'm rocking up to the Sea Org base now in Dundas in Sydney. It's next to a school, actually a Marist, which is like a Catholic high school, and I went to a Marist school for the last 2 years of high school. And so this was probably the Sea Org base was probably the accommodation of the nuns who were teaching the students or whatever, or the brothers who were teaching the students. But because Catholicism has died off, like Scientology has died off, and other religions have died off because they've been under systematic attack by the New World Order, because they want to reduce the they don't want us humans having religions. They want us basically believing in the government and socialism. It's just socialism basically, because when you've got passionate Scientologists or Catholics, they tell the they don't follow orders from the government as well, because they follow orders from the Bible or Jesus or whatever. So they are not that keen on anyway, the powers that be, because we've basically become a socialist country, and most Western countries are now all socialist. We're like, you could say, it's like we're almost communist and stuff. Anyway, part of their program, which seems like they started these programs in the around the 60s, is to get rid of the religions. And so it's like when we criticize Scientology and their ideologues for being empty and stuff, like all these other churches are empty as well. It's not just Scientology churches, But anyway, what I'm saying is that it's just like it's other religions that have shrunk as well. So that's why this Sea Org base is here in a former place where nuns used to live, because it's all become less popular because of these globalist programs and stuff. Okay, so here's the Sea Org base. Here's the entrance to it. Here's that school I was telling you about. That must be their soccer ovals. There's the base. I'll just make it look like, I've been trying to make it look like I'm talking to a friend on the phone. But there, Dundas House. 1957, so yeah, they built it for the nuns back then. But look at it. There you go. The Ideal Org in Melbourne was a former church as well, where nuns used to live, and so the Ideal Org came in and renovated it and rejuvenated it. But it was a similar situation where the old religion is dying out and then gets replaced with Scientology, but Scientology is dying out as well. The churches, that is. There's that. I mean, there's not much more to see. I mean, you saw it there. Behind this building, which you can't see, is like some big tennis court thing, or even like a soccer oval or something that I think is part of the building and everything. But you can see how this is the accommodation for the Sea Org. Yeah, they can fit a lot of stuff in there. Yeah, but speaking of these Sea Org staff, they're awesome and they're dedicated and they're really good Scientologists. They don't understand the control system that they're caught in. And I'm sure LRH is really, really proud of them. He's probably not proud of the ones who are switched on to the government takeover and who refused to resist. And they were probably the individuals who were around in the early 80s who knew that things were going on and Miscavige was changing things. But the Sea Org members now, most of them, the control system and the takeover of the church is so complete that they just have no idea about what happened or what's really going on, and they're just being good Scientologists and they're just trying to do their best. And so they're actually they're really cool, and I really respect them. And alright, I just had a session on stuff that's relating to the auditing sort of that I received last in the church. So it's sort of continuing off where I was in the church. It was just stuff like problems with Ned and stuff because I had problems running it. So it was just handling stuff like that and me explaining myself in a similar way that I was explaining myself when I was on Ned and I was running into problems. So that's kind of cool. I've just got a few hours left on my intensives and we're just going to run some things. And right now I'm reading a book by Rex and Heather Gilroy about secret underground bases in the Blue Mountains in Australia. Basically UFO bases, because these things are fascinating because the government's done a breakaway civilization. They basically set up these secret underground bases. They're broken away from us and they've developed advanced technology and stuff, and they're living these amazing existences underground. And if there's ever, they're basically living underground in case there's ever a catastrophe, because they know how, I guess, sort of how dangerous it is living on the surface here on Earth, because every now and then there's just some huge thing that just wipes people out. Alright, just finished some good sessions and I got my first floating tone arm ever. So that's pretty cool. And so far now I've almost finished 2 intensives of free zone Scientology auditing, and I've been getting persistent FNs, my first floating tone arm, and good case gain and good wins. And it's been pretty damn good. So I definitely recommend free zone auditing. And I think that's all I've got to say. Like, I might have to run one more session, but my one intensive that I bought for this trip has pretty much been used up. It's just interesting because I was in Sydney exactly this time 4 years ago, and I've changed so much since mid-2015. It's incredible. I know so much more. It's just mind-blowing. And case-wise, I've improved heaps. But yeah, that was some good sessions and stuff, and mental masses are really shifting. And yeah, that was cool. So I think this is what happens when you don't have bullshit definitions of FNs and you don't make people run things when they don't need to run them and that sort of stuff. Like, people are just FNing a lot and getting floating tone arms. It's how things are supposed to be. Also, I don't even think we flew Roods once, whereas like every time I go into session when I was involved with the church, it was always flying Roods. And I think it was just because I was keyed in from the bullshit, like having to run stupid things that weren't necessary and all this sort of stuff. Alright, so I'm in bed. I'm going to head back to Melbourne when I finish handling WhatsApp messages. My intensive is all done. I've heard back from the CS, and I had about a 10-hour intensive. I think I probably still have 2 hours left, but this is a good point to end off. And next time I get audited, I might be continuing on with my bridge. So it took about 2 intensives to handle leaving the church. Most of it was not even about leaving the church, to be honest. I didn't have much charge on that, but it was just like, I guess, I don't know. Sometimes you need to handle things in life or whatever, so this is like 2 intensives or whatever, including the last trip. It's pretty good. I had a floating tone arm and all that. I was just checking out someone's comment on the internet. They made some post, and my comment was that I just thought I'd better mention this because it's really interesting. I said that someone was asking a question about aberration, and I said, my comment was, it's whatever you think it is. Everything's just whatever you think it is. So you decide. You're just God. So you can just, whatever you postulate, you get. Because he was asking, he said something like, is masturbation an aberration or something? I'm just like, yeah, it can be, and it can't be. It can just be whatever you want it to be. I think that we create our reality, and all you have to do is make the postulate. Like, let's say you make the postulate that fishing is bad or something like that, then the universe will start changing, and you'll notice that fishing is this bad, evil thing and stuff. Or you can make the postulate that fishing is good, and the universe will change, and fishing is good. So I really believe that. So I think that's how I want to end off this video. I'm happy, I'm pretty good, and I think maybe my auditing actually has helped me to realize this comment that I just wrote on the internet, because it's quite a deep comment, and I think it really means the truth. And I think this is why sometimes when you talk to OTs and stuff, they sometimes have like this smile on their face or something, or they give an answer and they don't really care or something, because they know that they know more about what's going on. They know that everything's just silly, or everything's just whatever you think it is and stuff, and so they're just like, yeah, whatever. Like, they just got this genuine, like, yeah, okay. I just noticed that talking to some OTs, they have this attitude, and it's I don't know, it's just because they know that there's more going on. Anyway, that's it for this video. See you later. Now, yeah, I definitely recommend everyone try the free zone auditing, independent Scientology. It's so far the 2 intensives have been a success. Bye. So what I'm trying to say to finish this off is that if you're unhappy with the quality of the internet, if you want better apples or something, just think it, just desire it, and then it will become reality. Just wait, and it ends up becoming reality, and you're like, whoa. Anyway, see ya.